Hi everybody, it's Shaquana. Just know that this is take number like 87, so bear with me. I hope it works. Let's get through the whole video. I'm hoping this can be like a good 10 minutes because YouTube is hating on the kid. But hi, how's it going? God bless and peace be upon you right now as this message reaches you. So I'm starting a video series type thing. It was all inspired from me doing my first video post last week. So this is the beginning of my video series. And excuse me if I'm talking fast, but like I said, YouTube is hating on me, so I'm trying to get as much out possible before they cut off the video. So really quickly, just know that I'm trying to speak as loud as possible, but if you got headphones, trying to turn the volume up or whatever the case may be, because this is my first video, I'm getting used to it, and my speaker's on the bottom of the computer and blah 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 blah. So it's a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, bear with that. The other thing is that I noticed that it keeps kind of freezing. So just focus on really hearing my voice. If you can see me, great. But as long as you can hear what I'm saying, continue to watch the video if you like what you're hearing. So this first video is about learning how to ask for help, and I'm particularly talking from my own personal experience. And so if you watched my video last week, and if you've been following my blog for a little bit, you know that I've been expressing having a hard time, particularly materially, in Los Angeles, kind of getting things off the ground in terms of my business and making money and blah 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 blah. And so last week I posted a video asking everyone for help and saying I really can't do this on my own and I don't have a lot of support and blah 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 blah. So what I realized over the weekend, by God's beautiful grace, is that I wasn't doing the best job of actually asking for the help that I was saying that I needed and that I was saying that I had asked for. And this whole process of building up my website and building up my business and building up myself and my spirit all simultaneously has really illuminated the necessity in knowing when and how to ask for help. And for me particularly, with being such a distinct spirit that God has made, God made me in a very special way. And it may seem difficult to understand for a lot of people, but He made me in such a way that I really don't, it's not that I don't need anything, but there's nothing that a person in a physical being could provide me with that would give me what I need. However, people can help me get what I need, but ultimately what I need can only come from Jesus Christ. And so, like I said, it's a difficult thing to understand, but that's really the core of who I am at, right? So, who I am and where I'm at spiritually. And so, it's been a difficult process for me to kind of manage that in this physical life. Like, how do you ask people for help? And especially when I don't even realize any of this is the reason why I don't know how to ask people for help. So it's been a lot of spiritual revelations, as I like to call them, that have led me to this point to really understand what it is that I needed to work on. And it really got highlighted through me being here and feeling like I wasn't getting the support I needed. And the highest point of that highlighting, of that illumination, was last week. And so what I realized over the weekend was that I really felt bad, and I couldn't figure out why I felt bad. I felt bratty. After I posted, this entire process, I haven't really felt comfortable sharing it. You know what I mean? And a lot of it has been because I know my emotions, and they're very passionate and strong, but I also know that they're very fluid and they change quickly because I'm a growing person always, and I'm open to it. So when I share my emotions with people, sometimes they can get caught up in that moment and not realize that that's just an emotion for that moment and it'll pass. You know what I mean? So if I tell someone, oh, I'm sad right now, I'll be deeply sad because I'm so emotional of a person that whatever emotion I feel is going to be magnificent. So if I'm happy, it's going to be huge. If I'm sad, it's going to be huge. So when I share this with people, it becomes a lot for them. And so if I'm sad, you're thinking, oh, it's over for Shaquana because because the way I share it is so big. And then I can quickly move past that sadness. And then people are really kind of still stuck on me being sad. And they're like, there's no way you can move past that. You must still be sad. So I think that plays in part of the reason why I don't share a lot of myself, because I feel like it's too much for people to really handle. And they don't really know what to do with the fact that I can't handle it and they can't, and that creates a whole bunch of other inconsistencies and kind of iniquities in our relationships. And so I try to just keep myself to myself, mostly for the purpose of sparing other people too much of what I have, because they don't know what to do with it and how to process it. So in the end, I think one of the big reasons why I struggle with asking for help is because I don't know what people can do for me. I don't know how to tell people how to help me. And so I had to understand what it was that I needed, who can give me what I need, and then the significance of help in getting what I need. And so once I figured all of that out, which literally happened this past weekend, it all came into play and I understood. And I was like, okay, the reason I feel bad is because I feel like I haven't taken responsibility. Like I haven't. Like there's something I'm not doing. And instead of saying that, I'm running from it and I'm blaming it on everyone else. And I'm not saying I'm blaming it on everyone else, but I'm blaming it on everyone else, you know? So it was really, really important for me to figure all of that out. And once I figured it out, I was like, okay, Shaquana, you know, it doesn't... The significant thing is here is that I did need to learn that I don't have to accept whatever people want to give me. I don't. People will come and they'll be like, this is what I got. You want it? Because you ain't got nothing anyway. And it's like, no. So you don't have to accept what people want to give you in terms of for yourself. But you do. It's very important to accept people for what they can offer. So if someone says, I can offer you this, you don't have to take it. But you should accept that that's all that person has to offer. And not expect more or hold anything against them because they can't give you what you want or give you what you think you need or what you think you deserve. That's not fair for that person, nor is it fair for you, because you're sticking too much expectation on the wrong thing and you're ultimately not going to get what you want, and you're setting yourself up to be stuck and not really know why. So it's important for you to really know the importance of saying, okay, I accept that this is what you can offer me, but I also know what I want, and I know, more importantly, what I deserve and what I need. And though you can't give me what I need, what you can offer doesn't help me get what I need. So I accept that that's all you have to offer. I respect that. I acknowledge that. And please accept and respect and acknowledge that that's not what I need, or nor can it help me get what I need. So it's best for you to give what you have to offer to someone who can appreciate it, and it's better for me to take what is going to help me get what I need from someone who can offer that. So in that way, you kind of go your separate ways, and you know that whatever you can give within that relationship, you'll continue to give. But other than that, you don't expect anything more, and you don't give anything more than what you know you can give back, you know? And so it was hard for me to make that to come to that understanding with the idea and with the conceptualization also that there's no one who can give me what I need. So here in the back of my mind, I know that there's no one in this world that will give me personally what I need. Even if I can give them what they need, they can't give it to me. And yet at the same time, I'm knowing, well, I don't have to take any less. So where do I make the middle ground? How do I process that in the middle? Where do I meet people? How do I give people stuff and not be taken advantage of? And how do I give people stuff and not feel weary and weak, like I've lost more than I've gained in the process, and that in the end I don't have it to give to anyone else? So that's what all of this was about. That's what this help process is about. And figuring out how to ask for that help, and yet understanding that if a person can't give me the help that I may need, then in reality, if a person wants to help you, it's important to also know that there's no way that they can never help you. Like, they may not be able to give you what you need, but they can always help you get what they want, what you need. You understand what I'm saying? So maybe I need a car and you can't help me get a car, but you can do the research so you can explain to me how I can go about getting a car. Maybe you can help me by co-signing on a car. Maybe you can help me by donating money to help me get a car. Maybe you can help me by whatever the case may be. You can't give me what I need, which is that car, but you can help me get what I need, which is more important. The real need is the support in that. It's not really the car. Whatever. You know, it's one of those things where the means are significant as the ends, and you can't skip over the means and say, well, the ends justify the means. You have to make sure your means justify your ends, or you'll get to the end and you won't be satisfied. You won't understand why, but it'll be empty, and it's because you sold everything you had to get there, and you forgot that wasn't going to be what you really wanted in the end. You got so caught up at the end that you forgot all of the in-between. And so that's the important thing. And so asking for help, building that support, acknowledging that support, and accepting that support, that's the process. And whatever you get in the end will be beautiful regardless, because you had that support all along the way. And I had to really learn how to accept that and ask for that, and not just be expecting myself to give it, and then hold it against other people when they take and don't know how to give it back, because I'm not giving them the opportunity to give it back. So yeah, that was a whole thing. Let me tell you, like, I had to play it out. Like, I had to. God bless my parents, because both of them like really were supportive and understanding, and it was a whole talk, you know, and it was great. And they were kind of really the foundation that I needed to have this conversation and start this conversation, not only by myself but with other people. And so from there I kind of built on and was like, okay, I need to contact everyone that I feel like I've ever had any resentment against, or anyone I've ever been confused by, or anyone I've just never felt like I ever showed them the appreciation that they deserve for the help that they gave. I need to contact them and let them know where I'm coming from, and then see what's going on, you know. And the other part of it also is to figure out who can help me, because the key is, right, once you figure out how to ask for help and how to accept help and how to give help, right, you also need to understand that not everyone wants to do that, and not everyone wants your help, and not everyone wants to help you. But the key about that is not everyone's gonna be honest about that, right? So this is where you go to like the wolf in sheep's clothing, and there will be people who are gonna pretend like they want to help, and they may not even consciously know that they don't really want to help you, you know. So it's human beings are very complicated, so it's not necessarily always really significantly about people's intention. It really isn't actually about people's intention when it comes to what they do. What it's about is what a person does and what they don't do, you know. And that's going to demonstrate in a lot of ways whether a person wants to say it or not, their true intentions, not what they say their intentions are. So a person may say, hey, you know, I really want to help you, blah 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 blah, but then they never really seem to come through, and you're kind of like, what's going on? Now, my thing was for a long time to just blame it on the person. Oh, you don't want to help me. People just say this, but they talking crap. They're not really about this, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just pointing the finger at everybody else. It's not me. It's not wrong with me. I'm not getting the help because everyone else is just mean to me in the world, and I'm a victim, and blah, blah, blah. Until just this past week, and I said, well, Shaquana, have you asked for help? Have you actually had a conversation and said, will you help me? And someone said no. And I couldn't think of a time like that. Not blatantly in that way. I've asked someone to help me with this or told them what I needed and they didn't give it. But I didn't have the conversation where I said, well, will you help me? And they blatantly said no. Moreover, I took one situation or two situations or even 3 or 4 or 5 and allowed them to define not only our entire relationship, but who that person was and who they were to me, and then who I was going to be to them in return. I allowed myself to do that, and I did it with just about everyone in my entire life. So part of that coming back and making peace was really letting people know, like, I'm sorry for not coming to you and asking you whether your actions did this and this or not. I never gave you the chance. I just allowed your actions to define everything, and I made that assumption, and that wasn't fair. It wasn't fair to you, and it wasn't fair to me, but more importantly, it wasn't fair to our relationship. You know what I'm saying? Because whether or not you can really help me, whether or not you really want to help me, does not determine what we can be. Because remember, I know right now more than ever that God put me here to be what people need, even when they can't be that for me. So with that being said, my resentment and anger has come a lot from my misunderstanding of what my purpose is and what I'm supposed to do with that and how to balance that out with the rest of the world. And that all had to be revealed through God and through His time, and it was all for a very valuable and perfectly compounding reason. It's just difficult to explain and it's difficult to understand. But the key is, like I said, is to really, the next step and that last step is knowing who can help you. But not deciding that for yourself, but asking people. And people will tell you. They may not come out and be like, no, I can't help you. But just make it simple. Remember the key is that when someone wants to help you, it'll be demonstrated and they'll say, how can I help? So you come to someone and say, here, this is my problem. A person who wants to help us says, okay, so what are solutions? What can we do to solve this problem? A person who doesn't really want to help is someone who will go back and report to the problem, like, oh, well, how you going to do that? Instead of, well, you're not really sounding like a person who wants to help. Or someone who will then make it about themselves and say, oh, well, I have this problem, I have that problem. If I want to help you, I'm going to help, and that's it. The first step to helping is finding out how you can. So my key was not waiting for people to come and ask me, because people aren't always going to come and ask you, hey, can I help you? And you can't be upset that they don't do that. But also understanding that when I ask, and making sure I blatantly ask, not paint it, but blatantly say, I need your help. That not only am I accepting of whatever way they can offer the help, but understanding that they may not always say no, but they still won't help. And so you need to kind of show that. The thing is that those are things that, in one way or another, whether a person intends for it to be, it's done in the dark. That's darkness right there. And for you to bring light out of that situation, you have to bring light to that situation. You have to go to that person and say, look, I asked you for help. You either said yes or you didn't really give me an answer. And in the end, you really didn't help me. And I didn't understand why. And that bothered me, or that hurt me, or it made me want to hold it against you. So can you help me work that out together if you really do want to help me? And if you don't, it is what it is. But let me just accept that now and allow you to tell me that instead of me assuming for you. And because it makes it easier for the other person. If you assume stuff for them, then they don't have to hold anything accountable, because you haven't actually said anything out loud. So how could you ever really be mad at them? At the same time, it makes it much harder for you, because you're not acknowledging what the real issue is, and you're holding on to something without even realizing it. So make sure at the end of all of this process of learning how to ask for help and how to accept help and how to give help is understanding what help really looks like. And it's more than just saying something, it's actually showing it. And so when you get someone to openly say something, you can then hold them to those words. When you assume or put words in someone's mouth or let them kind of evade it and say, all right, I'll read between the lines, well, then that's when things get a little bit murky. If you want it to be black and white, you said this, so I expected this, then you have to make it black and white in that way. At the same time, understand that if it doesn't happen the way you expected, things have become gray, so don't treat them as black and white. So if someone said they were going to do something and they didn't, it's a little bit more complicated. Well, you said this and you didn't do it, so screw you. It's complicated than that. That doesn't mean that you have to tolerate it any longer, but it does mean that you should be tolerant of the fact that people aren't perfect, and that this was an example of this person's imperfection, and you should be tolerant. You should accept that this person wasn't able to come through, instead of holding it against them and holding on to it. Accept it, acknowledge it, and move on. And either you walk away knowing that this is a person that you can lean on, or it's not. But make sure that's a decision you make according to them, and not according to your assumptions or your personal lies or core beliefs or the grudges and stuff that you never let go that really had nothing to do with that person in the first place. Make sure that this person tells you, and they may not, like I said, they may not say it in words, but they will tell you in their actions. But you have to blatantly ask first, and then they will answer the question one way or another, and just be ready to see it. So I think that's pretty much all I have to share. I do want to take this time out. If there is anyone who's in my family or anyone who I've ever known just throughout my life that's watching this video right now, I want to say thank you so much. Lord Jesus, I'm a spirit God has created, a very complicated, complex spirit, and anyone who's ever encountered me knows that, whether for the good or the bad. And the fact that you've shared time with me and showed love to me, despite all of my complications, despite the fact that you may have not ever understood what the hell was going on with me, I really appreciate that. And people haven't always known how to show me love. People haven't always chose to show me love. But you shared a piece of yourself with me, whether it was in a good way or a bad way. And whether you know it or not, you helped me grow into the person I am. And so I couldn't show it back then. I couldn't say it back then. I didn't understand it back then. But I can say it today, and I can say thank you. From the bottom of my heart, I really, truly appreciate it. And whether you know it or not, the more you understand how much you blessed me, the more you understand how much you blessed the world. Because what I am prepared to do wouldn't be done without the pain and the gain and the beauty and the ugliness that I've seen. And every one of you have shared that with me, despite whether or not you ever felt like you got something back. So I really appreciate it, like I really do. And I'm sorry for anyone that I've ever hurt from the bottom of my heart. It's, Lord knows, like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I wish that there was more I could have did. And I understand that this was all in God's plan, and it was through His will and His intention. But I'm still sorry, and I take responsibility. And I pray that you can find it in your heart to forgive yourself for holding on to any pain that I've kind of kept you with. And forgive me for giving it to you. And forgive God for orchestrating a situation that will make such beautiful people put in such horrible situations. God bless you all. I love you so much. I really do. I still do. Even if we don't talk, we haven't talked in years, I promise you, if I ever told you I love you, if I never said it, but I showed it, I still do. I love you. I love everyone, but I truly love you all. I really do. So the last thing I want to say on this topic of helping and acknowledgement and all of that other stuff is where I'm at right now in my space. I'm definitely, I plan to, let's see if this happens, plan on doing a second video just to update everyone and tell them where I'm at and how you can help me if you're inspired at all and you want to be a part of this movement and learn how to help not only me but yourself and helping the world and getting where we all truly in our hearts want to be. So through all of that, I had to step back and realize that a lot of the reason why I wasn't realizing this whole helping thing was because I felt it was easier to ignore the fact that I needed to work on asking for help and work on accepting support. It was easier to ignore that and just say I'm going back to New York because I don't have it than it was for me to actually go ahead and attack that issue. And so when I said I'm going back to New York, that was me saying I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with this. Like, it's not fair, God. Like, I got to deal with this right now. Like, again, like, I done did this whole spiritual journey. I done went through hell and back, faced everything, and Lord, it's been ugly, and I've been on my own, feeling like I was on my own except for Jesus and not understanding and blah, 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 and now you want me to do this? Now you want me to deal with asking people for support? And come on, like, are you kidding me? So that was a lot of that, and essentially I was like, I'd rather go back to New York than to do that, you know what I mean? But really it wasn't about struggling. I've been saying this, but I haven't actually, like, written anything about it yet to put on the blog, but one of the key things I realized maybe a week ago actually was like I don't really want to go back to New York, and moreover I'm not doing better in New York than I am here. I was never doing better in New York than I was here. Obviously that's why I'm here, because it really wasn't about struggling. I've been struggling my entire life, but like wholeheartedly in the ways that I'm struggling right now. Ultimately, I was struggling like that in New York. You understand? Like, I was hungry. I was real hungry. And I had people in front of my face every day. You understand? There was times I was hungry and I had a job. I'm getting paid money and I have benefits, and people don't even know that I'm hungry and I don't have any food because of whatever the case may be. So I was hungry and I was struggling and I was homeless. You know what I mean? In every essence of what the word homeless means. I had a roof over my head, but I was homeless, and I haven't felt like I had a home that I wasn't going to get kicked out of or arrested or attacked in years. Like years. I haven't felt like there was someplace I could go home and call home and feel good there for a long time. And so those feelings of like being stuck in a place where it's not giving you what you want and you can't grow, it can do a lot of things that are hard for people to deal with. And what it did to me is just push me and say, I'm going to do better. I'm not going to get stuck here. I refuse. And I came here. I came to Los Angeles because I knew that I was going to struggle regardless, but at least I was going to be going towards something. And more importantly, at least I could see God's sunshine. Lord Jesus, there was no sunshine in New York this past winter. So if I ever needed to get the hell out of there, it was this past winter. Like, you know, so even if I had to go back, I was grateful that I at least was not going back during the winter. But I realized, like, that's not what I was supposed to be doing. You understand what I'm saying? That was the easy route out. And I gotta thug it out. I'm a G. Like, real shit. So, God forgive me. Sorry, everybody. But real stuff. I'm a G. I does this. You understand what I'm saying? I came too far to be like, oh, like, come on. I've been hungry too long. I done been through too much. I done seen the bottom. You understand what I'm saying? Done slept in tubs and on floors. And people don't know about that. And they don't got to. All you need to know is that I've been through too much. Just like you have. For you to come this far and say forget it. It's easier to do this. It's been easier. It was easier to give up, but was it really? No. It's really never easier. It's never really easier because you're going to suffer, and it's so much harder to suffer than to go through something and come out on the other side and be happy. The joy that comes from that is you know, understand what I'm saying? So to go through those rainy days, when you get to that sunny day, it's going to make it that much more worth it. But to sit there and say, I'll just stay in the rainy day so I don't have to work for what it takes to get to a sunny day, well, see, then that's when you're suffering forever. And it may seem like it's easier, but it's really not. It's really, really not. So I had to realize that, and I had to understand that that's what I was hiding from. I didn't want to ask for support. Like, I never really felt like I had support, and I never did a good job of asking for support. So in New York, forget New York, my entire life, everything I've gotten, I've worked for myself, and people have helped me in the ways that they knew how, but ultimately, it was me. When it came to those really core moments, it was the most consistent person ever in my life was me and God, and no one else. There was people that would pop in at different times when I really needed them, but it was never consistent. It was never like a constant reliance, like, you know, unconditionally I offer to you this Shaquana, and as long as you need it, it's here. You know, moreover, I'm going to offer it to you, and you don't have to come ask. That was never the case, and so I didn't know how to ask, and I wasn't having stuff consistently offered to me, so the only person I could lean on in my mind was myself. And I had God, but it took me years to really understand wholeheartedly how much I had God. So for a long time, I really felt like it was just me, myself, and I. And I knew God was getting me through, but it was me here. And I was here on earth by myself. And it took a lot of work to get through that. It took a lot of work. But getting here to California and realizing I'm not enough anymore. You know what I mean? And I got God, but there seems to not be enough. Like, what's going on here? Like, he says he's going to hold me down. What am I not doing right, God? Like, what am I not doing right? And I need to ask people. He gave me soldiers. You know, he made me a general in his army, and he gave me soldiers to ride with me. And all I got to do is just go ask them. And no, they won't offer. And there's a whole lot of stuff to that. But the point is that's not the reason, any reason to miss out on what they have to offer. You ask for it. And I promise you, believe it or not, they'll give it to you. Because I put it in them to give it to you. And if you ask me, I'm going to give it to you. But you have to ask. That's the key. You understand? So all of this comes out of that. Out of this struggle with, how do I make this work in California? And so this is my claim. This is how I end the video, and just letting you know that I ain't going nowhere. You already know. I'm here to stay. No. Real stuff though, like, I ain't come this far. I did not come this far. Like, I've been through too much. I'll be there. I'm not going back to New York. I'm going to make this work. I'm going to ask for whatever help I need. But I'm not going to just accept what people want to give me. I'll accept that's all they have to give, but I will not accept it for myself if that's not what I need. Moreover, I think that the last video I was in a place where I was just like, I'm desperate and I don't really want to do what I gotta do, so I'll just ask anybody. But like now I understand that my purpose, I understand my relation to asking to help and understanding my purpose, and I understand why God has given me specific soldiers to do this. And so I don't want just any help. Why? Because it's not going to help me get what I need. It's important for me to get help from the people who truly want to help and truly understand that what this is all about, and that this is bigger than me, this is bigger than a job, this is bigger than an apartment. You know what I mean? Like, I think we get caught up on the material things. I definitely did. I was like, I don't have an apartment, I don't have food, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Like, you could put me naked in the middle of the desert by myself, and I'm going to be alright. I'm going to be content, because I've been to the bottom and I've been to the top, and God done took me there, and He done got me through all the way. So I don't need anything outside of myself and what He put in here to be alright, to be better than alright, to be amazing, to be exactly what He wanted me to be. I don't need that, and I know that. But sometimes I let the world get me caught up, and I start thinking, oh, I don't have a house. I didn't come to California for a house. I did not. I promise you that. You can read my writings. You can read my journal. I was not writing, yeah, I'm going to California to have a home. I thought that that would be a part of this, and I think ultimately it will, but I got caught up in that being a definition. So people ask me, oh, you got a place yet? You got a place yet? So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, if I don't have a place yet, then it means I haven't made it. And I really got caught up in that. And I think coming from this feeling of homelessness and all this other stuff added to that, and it magnified my desire to really get this tangible example and evidence of God's existence in my reality. You know what I mean? And that I was on track, but I didn't realize it. I felt like I had moved astray, and this is why. So it's important for me to remember that I don't need just any house, and I don't need just any apartment. I can sleep outside. It is what it is. God gonna take care of me. You understand what I'm saying? That's not what I need. I have a mission. I have a vision, and there are people out there right now who know exactly what I'm planning to do. And believe it in your heart, whether you acknowledge it on the surface or not, you know that you are supposed to be a part of it. You know that you are supposed to be doing something in this. And so me asking for help really is saying, help me make God's mission, make the universe mission, the thing that's going to complete everyone. Help me do what everyone can't do. It's going to take a little bit of us to build the army of the rest of us. So you know in your heart, you feel it. When you felt the message, when you saw the message, you was like, oh my goodness, this is what I've been wanting to do my whole life. Those are the people that I need. Everybody else, I love you. I'm grateful for you. But if you cannot give what you need to give to help this happen, it's okay. You can just wait your turn. There will be a point when you'll have something to give. But don't offer what you can't give. You understand? Because this is bigger than all of us. So I'm over myself. I had my little 5 minutes of, I'm over it now. I'm definitely where I need to be. I'm definitely where I need to be, and I understand. So I do, once again, welcome all of the help from everyone that anyone would love to give. But remember what this is about. So don't come saying this is what I just want to give and blah, 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 and understand that whatever you can offer or can't offer, I love you regardless. And I feel your love, whether you know how to see it or feel it or give it, and whether or not I feel it. And I love it, and I accept it, and I appreciate it. And it's okay if you can't help me right now, because we're going to come back and you're going to be able to help. But right now, there's specific people, and you know who you are. And so those are the people this message of, will you help me? Will you get me to the next step? Those are the people this message is for. And you know who you are. So no, it's not about what I need or what the next step is. What can you do to help? Do you want to help? And if you do, this is the time. This is the time. The time is now. Okay, thank you everybody. I'm done. I'll be back soon. I don't know what the next topic is going to be on, but it's going to be fun. And, oh, look out for me to be doing my spoken word. I'm so excited, so I'll definitely look out for that. It's going to be dope. I'm a poppin' girl. You know how that goes. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed. God bless you all, and thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for riding out with me. Going through this whole thing with me. Getting me through the ups and the downs, and the good and the bad. And you already know. I appreciate it. For me, to you. All out there, all around the world. God's love. Jesus Christ. Amen. Ha ha. Deuces.